Hi, I'm Manny Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Scorpio for May 2017. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, see what's new on my blog, and while you're there, sign up for my free email newsletter where you will get a write-up of the upcoming month's astrology a month early. So what is going on in the month of May? This movement and manifestation to the max theme that we have been waiting for so long finally starts as we are getting clear of these personal planet retrogrades. We also have this super amazing outer planet harmonious connection to help us with big transitions. So I want to go into detail about all the aspects that I think are notable and what I think you can do with them. But first, I want to talk about some things specific for Scorpio. So there are several places in your chart that are very well lit up for this month. One of the houses is the 6th house, and this is for all of you. So the information I'm going to give you today is current for early, middle, and late degree placements. If there is something different, I will differentiate, but you can assume that this is for all of you unless I specify otherwise. So all early, middle, and late degree placements have the 6th house highlighted, and it's for different reasons, because you each will have some different planets highlighting the 6th house, but all of you have in common that the 6th house is being lit up. And the 6th house has to do with your health. It has to do with your diet, your regimen, any medical things. It has to do with pets and animals. It has to do with your daily work and what your office scene is like, or what your daily experience. If you have a job and you go to work, that's your 6th house. If your home office is where you're at most of the time, that is your 6th house. It's that daily experience. So this energy of what is in our immediate surroundings is coming up to be dealt with. So you might find that medical things are on your mind. You might get some breakthroughs for enigmatic health issues. And I really urge you, if you are having a problem with your health, don't give up and don't just listen to what the doctor says, because it's not that you shouldn't listen to your doctors, because there are a lot of times when that is prudent. However, if they're giving you information about a long-term or chronic illness or options for that, it's really important for you to do your own research and to get other opinions, because you can't always let one, unless it's exceptionally time sensitive and you have to make a decision at the last minute, that you can't leave your entire health and path to another person. And I think that that's part of what's wrong with many of the medical systems, is that we look to someone to heal us and we don't want to take responsibility for ourselves. And at getting yourself educated about what you have going on is going to help you to create the best outcomes. So don't give up and do your research are two of the themes here having to do with health stuff. And if you have something nagging at you, like a health thing, then definitely get it checked out, and you have a lot of support at this time to get some clear answers. So the other thing that is very notable that I want to talk about this 6th house is we are supremely, profoundly affected by what is in our environment. So dead plants, piles of undealt with stuff, things that we don't care about or like. All of these things are interfering with our vitality. They are interfering with our creation capacities. And so when the 6th house is being highlighted like this, it's pointing towards a time where you can clear out that stuff. We have just gone through a retrograde time that has been good for clearing out. So if you've been doing that, fantastic. But if you haven't brought your environment into coherence at this time, it's a really good idea to do that. There's a book, I keep forgetting the name of it. It's called The Magical Art of Tidying Up. And she uses her KonMari, I think it's called, method to clear clutter permanently in your house. And it really works. It was a really life-changing book for me to get. And anyone who I've talked to who's used it, it's just been flabbergasted. So this is a really good idea. But even if you're not going to take it to that degree, look around you and see if the things that you want to create in your life are in line with the things that you're looking at. So let's say you have piles of books about things that you're not interested in at this point, but they're taking up space. They're like you could say that they're using valuable marketing space in your subconscious creation capacity, okay? Because everything in your environment is marketing to you. It's a really good way to look at it. So if you've got things that are not conducive to what you're trying to create, they're going to be helping you create against what you're trying to create, working as a force against you. You know, I recently had this awareness when I had some books on my shelf, because I have so many books, you know, that I love the books and I do want to keep them, but the ones that were the ones I see the most were not necessarily the things that I'm working on right now or that I'm wanting to work with right now. So I had this spirit just like said, hello, Annie, you have to move the books that are in line with the things you want to create more of into your face so that it uses that marketing space to suggest to your subconscious mind to align with the things that you're working on. So this period of time is really great for you to pay attention to those things and really just break the matrix. And it is like a matrix, because you go to do one thing and you kind of get bounced off of it because it's kind of a big project. But just take a day here, if you can, and break the matrix of the whole thing and just dismantle it and get your environment into coherence with the things that you want to create. Another house that's highlighted very well for Scorpios this month is the 7th house of relationship, partnership. So this is marriage, this is clients, this is business partners, you know, anybody that you're in an important, a meaningful one-on-one relationship with is getting highlighted this month. So lots of energy for win-win solutions if you're at odds with somebody, lots of energy to work on a project with someone with great outcomes. Plus the stars are very supportive of moving forward at this time. There's a couple of spots with some hindrances, but for the most part, it's really the time we've been waiting for to bust forward with things that we've been working on in the backdrop for so long are ready to come out into the light. So the full moon that happens on May 10th is in your sign. And whenever we have a full moon or a new moon, some kind of event in our own sign, it always takes on more personal meaning, especially the closer the degree is to your particular degrees of that planet, or I mean that sign. So this full moon is at 20 degrees of Scorpio. So if the closer 20 degrees is to any of your Scorpio planets, the more this will impact you. When you have a full moon in your sign, it brings to fullness, completion, fruition, attention, all things that you're about. So all things Scorpio that you know so well are all brought up in this big way. So something very Scorpio in nature you've been working on could have this major manifestation. You know, a project, recognition for something. For you early degree and some of you middle degree placements, no, actually, yeah, pretty much just the early degree placements. I mean, I guess some early middle degree could feel some of it, but it's going to happen in, actually, hold on a second, let me see. Early, middle. So some early, all early and some middle will experience the full moon in the first house. And when you have a full moon in the first house, it brings attention to you personally. And sometimes it means it brings attention to you personally. Like you are recognized. I can think of a couple of Scorpios in my life right now who have been working on things. And in that month, there are things coming to fruition where it's like can cast them out, where they get recognized for something that they're doing. And that's a very typical energy of a full moon in a first house, especially in your sign, where it's like everybody's looking at you and you're getting the attention that you've wanted, that you have been working towards. And there is something very significant about a year cycle, you know. So especially if you've been trying to work on something around the last year, that it could reach its fullness at this time. Some people just get sick at that time because their body needs something and they're not paying attention and they get burnt out, and then, you know, they have to pay attention to their bodies because the full moon has brought the attention there and it's come to a head. For the rest of you who aren't having the full moon in the first house, it will be in the 12th house. And that place is a little bit more intense for it to be, because the 12th house is the house of fears and addictions and the really deep unconscious mind. So if you're prone to any mental instability, then definitely have the L-theanine, that amino acid ready at that time, because, you know, the tensions could run kind of high. And if your mind is under some pressure, that full moon can bring more pressure. So you just, you know, want to create some space around that time, so as tensions build, if you have that going on, that you have the space and peace and support that you might need. Now, equally as possible for a manifestation is a profound spiritual breakthrough. And I always like to add in these spiritual potentials because I am all about spirit. I'm grounded in the mundane reality, but spirit is speaking through me all the time, and spirit is speaking to me all the time, and I'm acutely aware of it. And I love to look at the spiritual potentials, not just what we would call the practical, mundane experience of astrology. The spiritual potentials are so much more interesting to me. And so when you have a full moon in the 12th house, in a water sign, in a water house, there's an amazing chance to break free from something that has been hindering you, have a major spiritual breakthrough, drop a bad habit, have an amazing meditation experience that just blows your mind, so the chance to have your mind blown in an amazing way is really high at this time. There is also a conjunction with Uranus and Mercury, so the chance of your head being hit, your mind being blown that way is increased as well, so you have to guard your head too, and guard your brain and all of that at this time. So those are the things that are most on my mind for Scorpios. Now I want to talk more about this amazing trine between Saturn and Uranus and all of the other aspects this month and what I think that you can best do with them. So I'll get more into that now. So I'm calling the theme of the month of May for all signs, movement and manifestation to the max. This is the month that we have been waiting for through all of the retrograde cycles that started at the end of 2016. So there are definitely going to be major opportunities for the launches, for the trips, for the action, for the activity, for the big decisions. And we have some really amazing transits that line up with this clearing of the retrogrades. So I'll just go in order about the notable dates and the transits on those dates. Do know that when you sign up for my free email newsletter on my website, anniehelpsyou.com, I do a write-up, a general write-up for the month ahead, so that you have a lot of the points that I talk about written down, and it's easier to refer to for your planning purposes, so you can check that out too. So on May 3rd, this is the day that Mercury goes direct, and Mercury goes direct at 24 degrees of Aries. So if you have any planets close to there, of course, you'll be affected more than others or in aspect to them to that degree. But everyone will likely experience more chaos around the days that Mercury goes direct. So it would be a false idea to think, oh, today Mercury is direct, now today or tomorrow I will go and do all these things and make all these decisions and try to get all this stuff done. You'll feel it when you pay attention that the energies are very chaotic the days before and the days after a planet goes retrograde, or the days before or the days after it goes direct. So I'd say give it a few days, several days after the 3rd, before you start taking action. I know your little horsey's chomping at the bit, waiting through 5 months of retrograde energies to try to do things, but do wait just a little longer. On May 9th, we've got the first day that I consider really, really good to start doing some things. You have to feel in to see if your launches or things like that would be good on this day, but I like a little bit later in the month because the shadow energies start to clear more. But this is certainly a day when the sun in Taurus makes a trine to Pluto in Capricorn, where you have tremendous power aligning with your desires. So you could, just feel into it. This could be a day to do some of the things on your list. On May 10th, we have the full moon at 20 degrees of Scorpio. And at the same time, we have a Uranus and Mercury conjunction. So full moons usually bring fullness, completion, drama. Sometimes they bring happy tears, sometimes they bring stress, but there is this fullness, this completion, this coming to fruition of anything in the area of Scorpio. So something having to do with an intimate relationship, a business partnership, a financial relationship or agreement, something with esoteric studies. Many people can have major spiritual transformation that occurs at this time, or insights that occur. If someone is doing research or looking into a mystery, Sometimes this energy can bring answers that you've been looking for, that you've been delving deep, searching for. The fact that Uranus and Mercury are going to make this conjunction at the same time always alerts me to watch your head and your brain, because Uranus in Aries, Uranus brings surprises, it could bring jolts. Mercury is like your movement, and it just always behooves us to guard your head, especially during this time, especially since the full moon is bringing excess of drama and emotions. And sometimes, everybody knows that people get a little more crazy at the full moon, right? Even people that don't believe in astrology know that that's true. So I like to leave a little space around the full moons so that whatever comes up, you can be fully present for them. So that's May 10th, the full moon in Scorpio. On May 11th, we have a square with Mars in Gemini to Neptune in Pisces. And so how I see this energy coming together as a potential is information overload, action overload, things to do, just kind of energy and movement combining with chaos and confusion, so this might be a day to step back. I always like to remind you that even though I give you the dates of the transits, sometimes we feel the energy of the planets coming together on the days before or the days after the actual transit. So you really need to feel in with your intuition if a day is good for something. Just because we say today is a good day in the cosmos, if you're having a bad day that day and things are not flowing for you, maybe you don't want to align with trying to make a big decision or do something on that day just because it happens to be a quote good transit. Sometimes you'll feel the good energy days before, so if you're feeling it, everything is aligning. You don't have to necessarily wait for the exact day the transit happens. If it's a positive transit, you can take advantage of that energy when you feel it beforehand as well. So I just wanted to point that out. So this Mars in Gemini and Neptune in Pisces aspect could bring some action and information overload. So just kind of draw back a little bit. That is the other thing to know about this month. Although there are definitely energetic clearings going on, the planets are going direct that were retrograde, the shadows, or at least Mercury is, the Venus retrograde shadow transit is going to be over this month. We'll talk about that later. Mercury retrograde transit or shadow will be over later. There's this clearing out going, kind of opening up some room for action and things to happen. But this energy is interspersed with these little challenging moments. So you really just have to feel your way through to see which is a good time to do what and to take best advantage of the good energy when you're feeling it. Okay, so also on May 11th, Mercury in Aries is going to make a trine to Saturn and Sag. And so this energy is really good for good news and forward movements, especially on long-term projects. So the fact that it's so close to the full moon and this other aspect with Mars and Neptune, you just have to feel your way through. Feel when you're feeling that good energy flowing, then jump on that and take your actions at that time. On the 14th, the nodes, I started talking about the North and South node in transit last month in the April report. The North node in transit shows us keys to our highest expression. And right now, on May 14th, the nodes change to the polarity of Leo and Aquarius. And so when the North node is transiting in Leo, it's pointing for all of us to have more energy towards following our bliss. That's what Leo energy is about, is living in this constant manifestation of these true desires. A true desire is not necessarily a chocolate cake. Or a purse or something like that. The true desires, the ones that spirit wants for us, aligns for us. And who knows, maybe a purse or a chocolate cake could be part of that if it's part of something bigger for somebody. I have no judgment on the desires. We just have to be careful that addictions don't cloud the way of true desires that spirit wants for us, So when we really, really, really want something, it's usually because spirit really, really wants that for us. And when we align our energies with where spirit is directing us, we become an unstoppable force for manifestation. So with the transiting node moving into Leo, we're all going to have years of support for following our bliss. It reminds me of the quote by Joseph Campbell. If you haven't studied his work, he's amazing. He basically, this is, loosely, he talks about how when you follow your bliss, doors open that weren't there before. Not even doors necessarily that were closed, just like doors open from places where there just weren't any doors. When you follow your bliss, you align with that energy, you supercharge yourself for manifestation. So this is really good news for me for assisting everyone in following that bliss, because the universe is really supporting this at this time. So on May 18th, we have a nice angle between the Sun in Taurus and Chiron in Pisces. Chiron is an asteroid, it's the wounded healer. And it talks about how our weak spots can actually be our greatest strengths. So when we have a nice angle here, it's showing us that we have a chance to easily convert a weakness to a strength. That's what Chiron to me is all about. So when you have something at a nice angle to it, it means that conversion can be relatively easy. When you have Chiron in a challenging angle, then that conversion can be a little bit stressful. But this is like a nice little sweet spot here, in the middle of the month, where something that was serving to hinder you actually serves as your springboard. So around May 19th, we have this amazing long-term story, beautiful aspect between Saturn in Sagittarius and Uranus in Aries. So we've talked about outer planets, how when they get together, they create these long-term challenges, which could be opportunities or just straight opportunities. So this is just straight up opportunity for harmonious transitions. The first time Saturn and Uranus came together in this configuration in recent times was December 24th of 2016. So here now, May 19th, is our second run of this story. And then the third run they'll connect again on November 11th. And they won't come together again like this until 2047. So this is a really rare aspect, and it is one that is a theme for the whole year from the end of 2016 through the end of 2017. And this month of May, and actually for the end of April, all of May, and almost half of June, Saturn and Uranus are in this amazing close proximity that's just opening doors, just like we were talking about for following your bliss. So it's really supercharged. And so the energies are also both in fire. And fire means action. If you know anyone or you have a lot of fire energy of your own, this is an action-oriented energy. Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Let's do something. So when you have these outer planets in this wonderful aspect, they want to help you do something really big. So this is the type of energy that's amazing for all huge transitions, like major crossroads. Changes in all areas of life are very much supported. And now that we have the personal planet retrogrades clearing up, it's really opening up the way for these changes that have been pending to really start to manifest. The same day, May 19th, we have this opposition with Venus in Aries to Jupiter in Libra. This is the opposition that I worry least about in general, because Venus and Jupiter are the two benefics, the nice planets basically of the zodiac. So when they get together, even in an ornery angle, it's not as much of a challenge or an issue as oppositions with other planets are, because they kind of like each other, So I could see two main possible manifestations from this. Of course, there are unlimited manifestations, but one could be overindulgence in fun. So just excess of fun, spending, partying, whatever. That is more common at this time, just having way too much fun. And the other way I can see this happening is a burnout from balancing me and we. Like, you could be getting in a really good groove with tending to your own things and tending to your stuff with relationship, because Aries and Libra are this, this polarity of me and we. So you could just be burnt out from balancing me and we, and that could be how it manifests. And this same day, on May 19th, is when the Venus shadow period from the retrograde passes completely. So ever since April 15th, when Venus went direct, we've been in this shadow period where, even though it was moving forward, it was kind of still getting back to full strength. So now on this day, it's back at full strength, and we're not going to have to work with this for, a long time, until the end of 2018. As far as the Venus retrograde goes. On May 21st, the Mercury shadow clears, So in that time between, the first few days after Mercury goes direct, so May 3rd, after that, I'm saying like May 9th is a good time to start, pushing some things forward. From May 9th until the 21st, you're still having a little bit of shadow stuff to deal with, but it doesn't mean you can't get some stuff done. But now, as of the 21st, you have this completely open period from personal planets retrograde or their shadow periods until July 24th. So make the most of your taking action, doing things, going places, making decisions, moving forward. Then on May 25th, we have the new moon at almost 5 degrees of Gemini. New moons always bring new opportunities, and the more you make your wishes in alignment with the energy of the sign, the more the universe can help them come true. So you get 10 new moon wishes. You can check out my blog called Making Powerful New Moon in Gemini Wishes, or you can just go to anniehelpsyou.com, click on blog, and then put a search for new moon in Gemini, and you'll find it. So you can see the types of things that are Gemini related that you can wish for that help to push your wishes even further. That new moon is also squaring Pluto. So there could be some challenges with people, authority figures, or unknown pieces, or some sort of forces that seem to be working against you. This is one of those examples this month, as I was saying, there's like all these energies moving forward, but they're like little hindrances, little obstacles in the way. So if you're feeling a little bit of a pushback, then just honor the flow and just wait until you're feeling the flow move forward again, instead of pushing against it. On May 28th through the 29th, Mars in Gemini is going to be opposing Saturn in Sagittarius. So this could be another one of those hiccups in progress where, Saturn, this taskmaster, comes in and opposes Mars, this planet that wants to move forward and take action. It's like a little bit of, hey, you have to do something with your responsibility here, or here's a little piece you didn't keep up with that you have to take care of before you can continue spiraling forward. And it is very much a spiraling energy because the energy of Gemini moves in an upward spiral. So you'll notice this month is just full of, even though we have energy in Taurus as well, which is more grounded, there's more of a predominant energy in like the Aries and Gemini, which is like making everything spin, busyness, lots of information, lots of talking, lots of thinking, lots of doing, lots of going places. So then on May 30th, Mars and Gemini will make a nice angle to Uranus. And this is a really great day to put a brilliant plan in action. Uranus rules taking chances, taking risks, doing something forward thinking, and Mars again rules action. So when they come together in a nice angle, this gives really good support for taking a brilliant idea and putting it into action. On the 31st, Mercury in Taurus will make a lovely trine with Pluto in Capricorn. So this is like grounded action fueled by emotional or lesser seen support. Pluto is stuff in the backdrop. It could be spiritual, mystical stuff. It could be a person or an entity with money that is supporting you, but it's something that is positively expressing or positively supporting your expression at this time. So these are the things that are most on my mind. Again, the theme this month is movement and manifestation to the max. I hope that this helps you to take more advantage of the opportunities that will be at play this month. If you haven't already signed up for my free email newsletter, then definitely do that on my website, anniehelpsyou.com, because you get the write-up of the month that's coming. I always send that out a month early, just like I do the horoscopes a month early, so that you can prepare. And some people need to see things more than just hear them, and that written report will give you information in a visual way. Also, I might have some slots still open in my Creating Successful Online Business if you'd like to be free from your geography. I'm not yet enrolling for my astrology apprenticeship program and my coach certification course, but it's coming soon when I will be. So if you think you might be interested in those courses, they do fill up quickly. You can go to my website and click on anniehelpsyou.com, click on Work With Me, and send me an email through where it says this class is full and in progress. If you send me an email through there, I'll put you on the list to have first chance at open slots when they come, if you're really interested in working with me. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.